All right, let's do this. What's up, you guys? Funny enough, I actually recorded this entire video already, posted it on YouTube, left it up there for a full day, decided I didn't like it, and took it down so I could re-record it. I recorded it upstairs in my living room with my iPhone, thinking that would be a good idea. It worked out okay, but anyway, made it back to the basement with proper lights, proper camera, and proper microphone. So let's get this started. So I've been wanting to make this review for a while. I've owned this Nikon 200-500 f5.6 VR for a little over a year, and I've had a chance to take it a lot of different places. I've traveled with it, I've taken it wildlife shooting, I've taken it to skate parks, I've taken it to watch surfers, and I've had a really good chance to use this lens in a lot of different settings. And I wanted to share with you guys today some things I absolutely love about it, and some things that could probably use some improvements. But given the price point, are those things that are good trade-offs. So you guys can see overall, this is a big lens. When it's full out, pretty large with the lens hood. Definitely good that it has the collar on it. Definitely good that you might want to get a monopod, which I'll talk about in a minute. Overall, this lens though, it MSRPs for about, I think, $1,200 to $1,500. I buy a lot of my lens, my nicer Nikon lens, used. Simply because I'm willing to save $1,000 to get some really nice glass versus buy it brand new or buy a little bit non-nicer glass. So, you know, when you're choosing between like a 2.4 or 4 when it comes to some of Nikon's zoom lens, I'd much rather buy a well-suited used lens than something new and not quite as nice. This thing right here, I feel like is worth every penny that you pay for it brand new at $1,400. The 200 to 500 is just extreme range. A lot of people might say 5.6, that is a, you know, it's gonna require a lot of light. That's true, but that's who this lens is built for. That's what this lens is built for. It's built for being outdoors, shooting things that are far away, moving super fast. If that's what you're shooting, this lens will not do you wrong. So I want to take a look at a few images I shot with this lens. I've got some photos up right here from a recent trip that I took to Puerto Rico. I'm at full tilt here, full 500 meters shooting these guys. They were way out there, but the lens was able to keep up as they were moving across the water. Shifting over a little bit to something that is, I guess, less action photography, but still outdoor wildlife photography. I made it up to the zoo, and I took some photos of the local gorillas at the zoo. I think this photo does a really good job of showcasing how good this lens can do when you have the right lighting. So again, this gorilla, check it out up close, like laser focused in, getting that creamy bokeh in the background, but the face of the gorilla is just super, super sharp. So what does the lens not do so well? There's been a couple other reviews of this lens online that have talked about when a subject goes from stopped fully to instantly in motion, this lens has a little bit of an issue tracking it. And I will say I also noticed that. We took my puppy, she's not really a puppy anymore, she's just adorable. We took our dog to the park. Once she was running, if I hit that focus, it would lock on and stay on. However, if you lost it, it had a little bit of trouble finding it again, or if she was stopped and I was locked onto her and then she took off, it would have a hard time deciphering what was the stopped object and then what was the dog actually running. So I think from stopped to full movement, not perfect, but again, for the price point, the range, and the image quality, probably a pretty good setup. I have this thing hooked up right now to a D850. Most of the photos that you just saw, it was hooked up to a D810. Pretty similar cameras, but when you've got this hooked up to the D850 with the grip on here, getting all 9 frames per second burst, this combination is a pretty wicked beast. Couple other things I wanted to touch on. This thing is not too heavy, but if you're gonna be shooting all day with it, you might want to invest in a monopod. You can see I've got a bracket on here for a monopod. Just probably worth having. The monopod weighs like a pound. This entire thing probably weighs like 7 pounds more. I have no idea how much it actually weighs, but it's heavy-ish. Adding the monopod doesn't really add that much weight, and it's probably gonna save your back and your arms if you're shooting all day. Got this carbon fiber one on B&H for about $100. Had really good reviews. I'll link it below. The other thing that I would highly suggest for this lens is a case. Unfortunately, Nikon does not toss in a nice case with this lens. I bought this one, this Low Pro, for about $50 afterwards. Nikon includes their kind of crappy cloth, like lens bag with this thing, which I don't even know what the point is. If you're gonna be traveling anywhere meaningful, spend 50 bucks, grab one of these cases. Finally, build quality on this thing. It's a combination of plastics and metals. It does not feel cheap. I have some nicer Nikon glass that supposed to be nicer, but it feels cheap plastic. This thing feels well built, feels like a tank. Again, I've traveled with it for over a year, and there's no real scuffs on here, no major issues. So build quality overall is good. It's something that I cannot complain about. So hopefully this review, it was brief, but it was helpful. I again probably can't say enough good stuff about this particular lens. If you guys like this video, let me know below. Let me know what I can do better. I'm having fun making them, so appreciate any feedback, and hopefully I'll catch you guys next time. Adios.